About 2 years ago, I went to a place called Parrot Mountain. It's a bird sanctuary in Pigeon Forge that has a lot of rescued parrots that you can feed and handle. While I was there, I met a little yellow bird in the nursery that I immediately fell in love with. That bird was a cockatiel, and I just knew right away that I had to have one. Cockatiels make great pets, but they actually require much more care than most people would think. After having and caring for these birds for about 2 years now, I can share some of the ins and outs of proper care. Due to a cockatiel's dietary needs, its behaviors, and its sleep and exercise needs, taking care of a cockatiel is actually much more complicated than most people would think. Although all of these needs need to be met, it actually all begins with the diet. According to an academic journal by Amanda Foreman, most cockatiels in captivity have an incomplete and seed-based diet, which is high in fat. But there are a lot of options available when it comes to making sure that your bird meets all of its nutritional needs. Pellets, for instance, are a great staple of their diet, but you're still going to want to add some greens and some fruits on top of that to make sure that they get all the vitamins necessary to be healthy. Just make sure you check and see which foods they can and can't eat. And when your bird is eating healthily, it will reflect in its behavior. Cockatiels experience a wide range of emotions, just like us, just like most animals, and the best way to read these emotions is through their body language. So, if their crest is at half mast, then they're feeling content. If it's flat back across their head, they're probably feeling angry. And the crest is probably the best way to determine how the bird is feeling, but it's not the only way. So, if they're clicking their beak, they feel threatened. If they're grinding their beak, they're sleepy. If they put their head down, much like this little girl here, that means that she wants to be pet. If they're whistling or they have their wings out in a heart formation, that means that they're happy. But there are also a lot of other strange behaviors with cockatiels that you want to look out for. For instance, cockatiels get night frights, which means that they'll see something in the middle of the night and they'll freak out and they'll fly into their cage and injure themselves, and it's awful. We lose a lot of birds that way. So, um, not I personally, but people lose a lot of birds this way. So, according to Mike Ashton with the National Cockatiel Society, the best thing to do to assist with this is to put a low light lamp in the corner of their cage so that when it does happen, they're at least going to be able to see where they're going. So, as well as meeting a cockatiel's emotional needs, it's also essential that you meet their physical and their mental needs as well. Cockatiels are very intelligent animals. They can be trained easily, they can learn tricks, and as such, they need toys and puzzles to make sure that they stay engaged and stimulated. This can be done through a wide range of puzzles and toys as well. For instance, in my cage, I just use paper. I have several paper cups and paper plates. And although it may seem simple, cockatiels love to destroy things. And so that's what keeps them entertained. And it's what keeps them from getting lonely in here. Also, for cockatiels, sleep is very important. They actually sleep more than we do. They need anywhere from 10 to 12 hours of sleep per night, according to this great little book I have here, Living with a Cockatiel by Neil Forbes. Highly recommend it. Along with sleep, cockatiels also need a lot of physical exercise. They need to be able to fly a lot, so if you have them in a cage, you need to let them out frequently. Luckily, when I let them out, they fly for hours at a time, on and off, and so they stay very active, very physically fit. And if they don't, it can be extremely detrimental to their health. They'll gain weight and get fat, and it weighs a lot on their little hearts. So, between meeting the dietary needs, understanding and catering to the behavior of, and ensuring the health of cockatiels, there are many aspects of proper care for these incredible little birds. Now, we haven't covered everything we need to cover here to make sure that these birds are cared for in every single way, but we did cover the essential information to make sure that their biological needs mostly are met. And if you've ever thought about getting one of these little birds, you'll probably know a little bit more now about how to make sure that your little friend is happy and healthy in his or her new home. Thank you.